to the Historical Commission meeting, March 6th, 2025. It's now 5:30. We'll start with a roll call of commissioners. My name is Al Murphy, and present. Walter Kroll, present. Commissioner Judith Kroll is absent. Commissioner Zorzi.
Present.
You. Vincent Walsh, not yet. Commissioner Escalon. Yeah. So we are a commission that votes to the quorum for something to pass. There needs to be at least 4 of us here who can vote. And we hope that Commissioner Vincent Walsh would meet us online. Hopefully he can be here or not. So this is a pretty full agenda, as you can see. So bear with us and thank you for your patience in advance. We have a property where the request was withdrawn, but before we do that, we have a acceptance of the minutes from the February 6th meeting. So moved. Okay, has anyone had the opportunity to read it? Yes. We have a motion on the floor. Second. And we have a second. Thank you. All those in favor of accepting the minutes? Aye. Anyone an objection?
You do have Commissioner Law. Read that in the record.
Oh, Commissioner, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
To be here, we'll log you in as chair virtually. We're just voting on the acceptance of the meetings, February 6th meeting. And we're assuming you've had the time to look at it and your vote to accept.
Accept.
Thank you. The minutes have been accepted. Right, it's a public hearing. We have one public hearing for a property that was requesting replacement of their front door, but because they decided to use a storm door in lieu of that door, they've withdrawn their application, and that was for 144 Buckingham Street. A certificate of non-applicability was issued.
That's correct.
Thank you very much. All right. So our first public hearing, which is a new hearing, is for 3 Clarendon Street. Someone here representing 3 Clarendon. And we have a letter of authorization from the owner stating that William Brock will be speaking on behalf of the owner to the Historic Commission.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Will Brock. I'm the Senior Program Manager for the Office of Housing. We're to propose new siding for Clarendon Street. We have a environmental inspection report stating that the existing siding is asbestos, and we'd be looking to abate that siding by wrapping the new vinyl siding.
For the people in the audience, I'll just read the request. Proposed change is replacement of existing asbestos siding with new vinyl siding to match existing historical aesthetic. Justification for the certificate of hardship is the positive results for the asbestos environmental hazard. So why don't you give us just a little brief as to?
Yeah, so I mean, the siding throughout the property was tested positive for asbestos by HTC Environmental. This was the last portion of a previous application that was submitted at the end of last year for, multiple renovations on the property. So this would be the last portion of it we get approved before we begin the project in the spring here.
So the new siding that you're planning if I may ask, to replicate somewhat by what you see in the historical photograph. Trim and flatwood.
That would, that's absolutely the goal is to recreate the same, existing aesthetic as the original color from.
Okay, so what about these panels that have no flatwood?
Which one are you talking?
With
So these clapboards are here, those would honestly, those would end up being the same style siding as we're both throughout the season.
so instead of a panel like that.
So instead of a panel,
Finding the flatwood side.
yeah, yep.
Any change to the porch trim or?
There would be no change to the porch trim, those elements of the project actually were approved in the previous
So
application.
it's just the siding.
Yeah, so it's just the siding that we were looking at, the hardship as we discussed, in the previous application, we were waiting on that inspection report to be prepared, so.
Do we have any questions from the commission?
We replaced many of the rotting boards that are pictured here.
So we call to replace rotting boards as needed, and to recreate, reframe so in this particular, with the asbestos abatement, we would go looking to wrap it. The contractor would make a judgment, at the time of the construction on whether any additional, work was needed. If it was, then it would be something that would need to come in front of the commission.
You said you were wrapping it, are you removing the asbestos siding, or are you just putting the new siding on?
So we would put the new setting on top of it as the general practice for abatement for asbestos. As far as I'm aware, I don't personally hold a license.
Yeah.
So with any application, especially with this, there would be a sample spec, what the manufacturer is. I didn't see that in the application.
I sent that over to Andrew earlier this week.
It was 40 something pages, so I have one copy here and an individual.
40 something pages, that's impressive. Wow. So is there,
So it was more just the manufacturer, the contractor supplied me with that input for the siding that he's going to purchase for materials, just so you guys can get an idea of the aesthetic of the materials that we're going to be purchasing. So as, we've discussed, we're looking to recreate that same flatboard aesthetic that is from the previous historical photos.
so is there one that you've chosen? This looks like all the different options from.
This, once again, this is to approve the funding in order to supply the homeowner with funding for this practice, the means and methods are the responsibility of the contractor.
Sure, but then, for us, you have to pick a horse in order for us to evaluate what it is, so there has to be.
And if you guys want to dictate
one of
which one of these materials we have to use, then I'm fine to, I'm fine with that approval, but once again, I can't dictate that, so.
It seems to me that the majority of what they offer is this wood grain texture.
Yeah.
Correct? See that?
That's what it looks like, it's just a matter of whether it's, double 4-inch, double 5-inch, double 8-inch.
Well, looking at the.
The rest looks like soffit, but
This looks like the old photograph looks like a relatively tight, maybe 4-inch.
4-inch.
Yeah. Is there a 4-inch off there?
This one's double 4.
So it's two pieces that. 4 inches to the weather, it's an 8-inch piece built.
4
What's
inches.
to the weather?
Use a 4-inch Dutch lap. So I think.
So it is the double 4-inch clapboard.
Bill, do you think that the based on what's there, you think the 4 inches, what's on the?
Yeah, and in general, anything, like that with 4 inch or 5 inch, we would ask the contractor to, match it what would be existing based on the photographs or what's existing on the property already. From, the discussion that we're having here, it sounds like 4 inches is the consensus.
Let's see if we can- Any other questions from the commission?
Can we just, when you get to the motion, just note what page you're referencing? That's how.
So this one is, yeah, it's the Premier Home Exterior, page 11 is the number that we're looking at. Vinny, what we're looking at is what they provided, it's, I'm sure Andrew,
No, it's on my screen, yeah.
there, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
So I guess it's screen. I'll just sit.
My question is just, unless I missed it a few minutes ago, was corner board sizes and things like that, and window framing. As opposed to when vinyl siding is very often used, they usually just go right up to the edge of the window or the corner board. They use like a 3 inch that's the same color. I know you can get wider if you, I would prefer wider. And is it gonna be any attempt to match those historical details on the property? Like the framing on the windows, the corner boards, you know what I'm talking about.
I asked that question, Commissioner, a few moments ago, the answer was that they plan to match the sizes and the detail on the existing historical photograph, except where the solid panels are around the window on that 45-degree piece that juts out of the corner of the house. But instead of solid panels, they would use clapboard in lieu of that.
Okay. I just had an audio issue for a couple minutes, so I wasn't quite sure, but if you are satisfied with that answer, then so am I.
For us, that would be a scope of work change to add the exterior trim aesthetic, and that's generally something that the program can't cover, is something that's just for aesthetic value and doesn't serve any code or human habitation purpose.
May I say something here, Commissioner? I mean,
Yes.
Chair, yeah, this is all about aesthetics.
Yes.
We do.
So as I'm saying, just with the original photos, there's no trim or anything to it. Is what I mean by that would be a scope change, and it would be. I mean, I would have to bring that to my director. That would be something that we wouldn't normally be able to cover in this program. So.
So I guess you're saying something different.
I just don't have a direct answer for you on a yes or no on that one. I need to, confer with somebody to make sure that federal funding wise, we're not improperly funding something that would eventually, the outcome for that would be a finding from the federal government, the homeowner having to pay money back from the federal government.
Right, so maybe program, we need to postpone the vote, we can do that.
Yes.
So we can still have a public hearing for public expression.
Yeah. Okay. One other question I had was just on the soffit. I know it's not, you can see it everywhere, but did you pick a soffit style?
We did not pick a soffit style. Once again, that would be up to the contractor to match, the photographs as they stand.
Okay.
Well, that's something to come back with us when we can do.
I mean, the one that, to me anyway, that closely models the wood would be something.
What's it called?
It's a 12-inch T4 solid soffit, vertical siding.
And at this point, I have the selected contractor too, so we'll work on for the next meeting to bring the contractor in with me as well to answer some of these
You
questions.
guys agree?
Yeah,
It looks
yes.
like the wood soffit overhangs. This clearly wouldn't, this would look most like wood.
Okay.
20.
Anything else, Commissioner, before I open it up to the general public? So this is a public hearing. I could open up to the public to hear your concerns. whether or not you approve or disapprove of this request for hardship to replace the asbestos siding with the new, as you've been just hearing. Anyone in favor? Or not? There's no one offering any commentary, we'll bring it back to the commission. So what I'm hearing is that you're asking to postpone until the next meeting. You can come to us with those answers,
Yep, absolutely.
specifically the trim,
Trim,
soffits, corner boards, window trim,
window boards, and then especially.
and the materials that were just found. Very good.
Thanks, commissioners.
Yeah, motion. So can you have a motion to postpone this vote? So we can
Continue.
Motion to continue.
I'm sorry, to continue. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, commissioner.
Okay, so next public hearing on the agenda is 108 School Street. Is there someone here representing 108 School Street? Please come on down. Come on down. Come on down. So we have a letter of authorization authorizing Convenio Mega.
Yeah.
Thank you. City Health represents the owner.
Yes.
Angelina Martin. Any address for the record?
Name and address?
Yes.
Angelina Martin, 108 Spring Street.
And your name and local residential address?
We do your money out on fluencies and folks.
Thank you. Right, so to start, let me just read this application. This is an application requesting a certificate of hardship. The proposed change, replace 3 wood windows in the basement, replace with an increased height, 3 windows in the basement, total of 6 windows. Please see the attached documents. So as we're looking at that, what would you like to tell us about your proposal?
There was plywood when we bought the house, it was plywood. Windows and rodents and rats were coming in now, so that's what we kind of asked for us.
Were you replacing them with? Double hung windows,
Yeah.
vinyl material.
If we can, there's, people are having trouble hearing, so if we can maybe speak up when we talk. That way, the people are not interested. Thank you.
Thank you. So do you have these photographs? That you can see them?
Yeah.
So you removed the plywood that was covering it? and what you
Yeah.
Found was single sash underwood, they were not outwood.
No.
That's really just not like the friend.
Right, but no glass.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes, that.
That's right, it's personal. Don't see any pictures or examples of what you do windows.
I did put one on the window because the water was getting to it. And I think a picture, you guys can see if you guys doesn't like it, but we open to
You have a
the.
picture to show us.
Is this a picture of what existed there or what you were planning to do?
What I'm planning to.
Yeah.
I'm open to you guys.
The water was coming in.
They really wanted to move it,
Mhm.
and they blocked it outside.
Where are the windows located?
Now, one in the. One on the left. One on the back side, two on the right side. And there are two on the left, but how do you guys also do the point I don't want that?
Are you able to send this to Andrew so we can have it for the record?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
So Commissioner Walsh, which they're showing us is a window that's a double hung window with 6/6 buttons
Some kind of pillow
filling the entire opening.
in black.
Black frame and buttons. Any other questions from the commission? So this is a solid vinyl exterior window.
So you have a pellet in now, but what you have here is a Northwind. Is it still Pella and Northwind is the actual style of window? Is there a difference? They're a different maker? Manufacturer?
No, the same, it should not be.
It's the window that's double,
No, it's in the same, yes.
they're the same window as what he showed in the picture.
Okay, so the one you've installed, the Pella window, is a Pella Northwind.
Yes,
It's still Pella, it's still the same,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
We're talking about the same type of window.
yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Other questions, Commissioner? One of my concerns as an architect is when I'm seeing these windows in this opening, it's very close to the ground. So you plan to lower the ground a little bit?
Yes, that one is low, the other one is like 3 feet high from the other side.
I see.
Yeah, and the one on the back too. So they're very,
Because there'll be more room for snow to sit up.
Yes.
The window.
Yeah. That one can be more room anyways, I just put it.
You temporarily fill the hole so it was.
Yes.
Understand. Other questions? Commissioner Walsh, any questions?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. So let me open this up to the public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience interested in offering that they are for or against this request for certificate of hardship for 108 School Street? Yes, please.
I'm Harry Seymour on Route 68 Washington Road, and I want to speak in favor of it.
Okay, thank you, Harry. Is there anyone else in favor or against? If there's no one else, we'll close the public hearing. Bring it back to the commission. Further questions or does any commissioner want to offer a motion?
I make a motion that we support the application to replace the 3 windows in the basement along with the 3 increased height windows in the basement for a total of 6 windows with the Pella Northwind double hung 6/6 in black as presented by the petitioner.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. Any discussion or details to discuss regarding the motion?
I just want to confirm again, so Northwind, when I just look up in Google, it says National Vinyl, but I don't see anything that says Pella Northwind, so as long as what we're proposing is the Pella window you presented, that the model is the Northwind with the 6/6, so if that's different than what you do, then you'll have to come back, but that's what we're presenting, so as long as that's what it is, and you guys are, confirming that, then I'm just confirming that now before we, all right.
That's what we're voting. All right, so I'll take a vote of the commission, please. Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Zorzi,
Yes.
thank you. Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Nestor,
Yes.
and Commissioner Nardi is yes. Okay, so it passes, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lovely project.
See you
The more that happens, when you guys do it.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
I'm gonna have you on.
Thank you. We're gonna move along to 50 Riverview Terrace. Someone here, please come down. You have a letter of authorization, authorizing Rear Power and employees to represent this request from Fatima. Oh, got it. Okay.
Name and address for the record, please. Okay, it's okay. 50, are you at 50 Riverview Terrace? Okay, thank you.
Daryl Robin, representing from Green Collar, and your residential, 19 William Street, River Street.
Awesome.
So before you give us your thoughts about this project, I'll just read this for the public. For 50 Riverview Terrace, the proposed change requesting certificate of hardship is to replace all single pane windows in the home with triple pane, low roof factory, 0.23 or better window. Existing window size to match the replacement, no structural changes proposed. Justification, the homeowner has unreasonable utility costs to heat and cool the home. Homeowner is financially unable to fund the project costs on their own. They have qualified for income-based window replacement program based on income limitation and economic hardship. So what that was about the window and.
So on this project here, we're proposing using the national light window, you have to stand for it. So the window would be the National Vinyl Woodland 3 series with desert sand color, external grids. The one thing that we can't do with this window due to the energy rating that we need is we cannot have grids on the bottom due to the fact that the glass sticks out and they would rub.
Is it possible to get it up so that you?
Yeah, the bottom of the window is important too.
Yeah, I just didn't want to.
So what were you saying that again, Richard?
So the way that the external grids work, we can't put them externally on the bottom side.
So
Because it tips out to be clean, so.
So when the window passes, because it's triple pane, the thickness of it won't allow the two windows to pass across each other.
So
So,
what you're
So the-
requesting is just 4/1.
depending on the windows, this is just a sample, but the specs actually will show the grid pattern that we have window. Some of them are 6/1, I could put some 8/1s on there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, depending on the. Yeah. The sample is more for the color and. Type of.
Can you hair, can you please spin that around, just so we can see what the front, the bottom, it's all looks like? So that bottom, that's the whole window that you're gonna see sitting on the stall.
This will not be sitting on the sill, this will actually be recessed, so the black part is not part of the actual window, it's just the frame. So this would be sitting at about 1 inch. It would be sitting below the stool.
So what'll actually be exposed? What will you see at that bottom panel?
You're gonna take off probably about 1 inch right here.
You'll see about a half of it, or,
You'll see about that.
okay.
This is the interior side.
Correct.
Yeah.
Can you possibly put up the photograph of the existing house? Thank you for doing that. Yeah. It was a little difficult to see what we have for were muttons on the existing windows in these, here we go, that's a little better. So there are muttons on all the lower sash,
Correct.
so that's the main difference. But the upper sash muttons would be the same, the lower sash would only be single.
Yep. The other option, the reason that we showed you that sample is we've been told that the requirements are they're externally on the glass. We are able to put it in between the glass if that's an option.
Yeah. Typically not,
Correct.
I mean, we're all trying to emulate what was originally there, right?
Right.
External.
Yeah.
So,
Would the storm windows remain?
No, they would not. With the vinyl windows, you can't have the storm window on because it would trap the heat in and distort the vinyl and. I'll seal it later.
Other questions from the commission?
and the color is desert sand, is
Correct.
that desert sand?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So it actually kind of matched those stucco color of the building, right?
Commissioner Walsh, questions?
No questions.
Thank you.
Just, actually, just, maybe there is, I'm just. This is the second time we've had somebody tell us that you can't put external mullions on any, on these triple pane windows. But I thought the last person, unless this is the same guy, said that was able to find an alternate. But that's all my question is.
There was an alternate window.
There's a manufacturer that offers triple pane
Our
glass for the
manufacturer,
external mullions.
yeah, our manufacturer does not offer that.
But I do have a moderate concern about that.
Other questions from the commission? No, so maybe on to the public for commentary. Is there anyone here in favor or not in favor of this request for a certificate of hardship at 50 Riverview Terrace? No one? Okay, I'll bring it back to the commission. Further questions, discussion? Or motion?
Andrew, can you see the front of the house again, please? Bay Street.
The windows up in those eyebrow sections up out in the roof, they will have buttons that we are seeing like this.
Correct.
So they'll have 3 over 3 there.
Correct.
So I'm sorry, so the top windows are gonna be 3/1,
3 over 3.
No,
3 on
See
top.
now.
so they would be exactly the same.
Correct.
And they would be open ups, or would they be a double home?
There is no open up.
Okay, because you couldn't, that's why I'm confused, you couldn't do a
Right,
double
you
home,
can't
right,
do-
so it could be 3/3 with a double.
Correct, you couldn't put double one.
Yep.
Yes.
Alright, makes sense, that's what else, my brain was struggling.
We just have a comment made more for the commission, but normally we wouldn't accept a lighter color like that. There,
That's probably true, but if we go back to
Picture.
the photo again.
It's not bad.
This is the existing, right?
Yeah.
When we see what's going on.
Oh, yeah,
It sure does not look like.
no.
Looks lighter.
Yeah, and I would have guessed with the stuff with the blue top.
Yeah, okay.
Any further discussion on motion?
Is, I just wondered if, since you can do that swinging out above, can you do some window like that below? So you'd have the 6? Or the 3, or
Yeah, that is an option.
it would change the center, so it would not.
Right, wouldn't have any meeting around the center, which is dramatically change the building.
Yeah, that would be too much.
So I know Commissioner Welch brought it up, that the homeowner, have you guys looked at another manufacturer that actually has the 3/3 with the triple pane exterior mullions, because there is somebody that makes it.
Yeah.
We had somebody here that made it.
Yeah, they do make them.
Yeah.
It becomes cost prohibitive is the issue that we
Yeah,
have.
we got a company come over and take measurements and gave color samples.
Yeah.
And they quoted us 120 grand. For the-
Wow.
A good number. You can only ask for your name and residential address for the record.
For the, and that they give the details.
Thank you. So that window, there are a couple casement windows on this project. So it'd be more similar to that if we didn't have on in most of those areas. Some of the windows, especially the ones that are in these.
What's the total number of units?
Total one was 56. These are, the basement level. Very, very odd.
Yeah.
You have to go to their heat cabin here. Say architecturally, the more I look at the existing front of this house, I normally would be somewhat taken back without the buttons on the lower sash. But as I look at this, I just don't, because there's enough buttons on the upper windows up on the roof and the upper sash that still works for me. Even though normally I would not like the lower sash to be a single pane. If the windows were different on top, it would not work. You need that detail on top. That's just a thought. The other thing as well, again, I realize that typically you wouldn't do it in between the glass. In the situation here, we do a half screen on the windows. So there'd also, you'd be looking through the screen along as well. Something similar to. But we could. Correct. But we could have them in between the glass.
Well, this will have the screen, so that's kind of the other thing, that you're still gonna have the buttons and the lower sash, which although it'll be clear, you're gonna have a black screen. Right, which is kind of some of what you have today, it kind of disguises, because we couldn't quite tell on the lower sash if it had grids.
Yeah, because
Because it has a look, right?
Yeah.
So it would darken it a little bit. So it would not be as pronounced.
It's apparent. Okay, so I'm still looking for a motion from the commissioner. Benny? Or do you feel like you need a site visit or?
Well, I'm, this is one of the things we've been holding tight to for a long time. External and historically accurate. We've made a lot of people do it. So I'm not sure where the line is here. I just heard your logic relative to the upper part of the house, and there's something to that. Um, but in between, I'd rather have nothing than something in between, historically speaking. Um, but I'm very unsure of just all of a sudden we're not going to require external grid patterns. That's all.
Very hard for me to view the condition of the window, to see whether or not they're really close.
And with our pictures, I do have several pictures. Most of the windows, the bolts are broken on them. Couple of windows on the driveway side of the house, they actually don't close anymore. The hardware is not in good shape and not allowing windows to close. Like there's a broken sash on that one. The meeting rails, that would be just a missing lock. A lot of them, meeting rails don't meet up, which is not allowing windows to lock.
Well, people have maintenance issues. But not necessarily placement. They can't hear you. I'm sorry. I'm saying I can see a few, a few possible sets that need to be replaced, but I see a lot of maintenance issues.
You know, these windows here on the front of the house, the meeting rails are missing by about 3/8 of an inch. I see they're not able to be completely closed.
Have you looked into, has the homeowner looked into fixing existing windows?
The upper ones, they're not fixable. There's, the inch that open the windows,
Those types of,
the wood around it are broken right away, so.
I would imagine because they did open up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took the weather.
Most of them don't open.
Yeah, six or weather
difference.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so can I get a motion whether or not you wanted to vote in favor, but can I get a motion on the table to get some type of vote?
Plus, some,
Yes, please.
she's paying, 2,400, a month. And she got a disabled child, his one's always full.
I understand that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
unfortunately, I'm really unable, my computer volume is up full blast and I'm not hearing most of what's going on.
okay.
But
What was just said was, that the homeowner has a disabled child who's spending over $2,000 a month on heating. And that's the reason for feeling like they need to replace the windows that's causing some of their heat loss.
yeah. Obviously some of them have already been replaced, I see. And some of the other ones look like repair was a sure possibility. But I don't know, we'll just have to vote, I guess.
But yeah, the homeowner also made note that it was the upper windows that really need replacement and are not repairable, the ones that are hinged to the exterior.
You mean, what would be the third floor of those six,
Yeah,
right there?
the eyebrow types, yeah.
Yeah. And what was the proposed replacement for that?
To match the mutton six, was it 606?
Six, yeah, but it'd be a open out,
Correct.
as they are today, it would be an open out
Okay, but, okay,
grids.
okay.
Maybe, so you understand that once we vote, if we vote for it, we can go ahead and do this. If we vote against it, am I correct? That they would have to bring another proposal back to us for another 2, whenever we could schedule it.
Correct.
So, or you could amend this one in some way, if you would like to.
Well, I think what she's saying is you could request that we don't vote. Give you some time to decide whether you want to amend the application or whatever.
We've been waiting, trying for the past 6-7 months. In order to get the windows done. So.
No guarantee what the vote is.
Okay. All right.
But if the vote goes against it, you can't do it.
You can't do what you propose, but you can come back with
Another proposal.
But at least can we know the changes we have to do?
Well, people are gonna be hearing why we're voting.
And for clarification, for scheduling purposes, if they vote no, the next time I can get you on the agenda isn't until April 3rd. But if we continue, we can at least amend and come back on March 20th. 2 weeks, so you losing 2 weeks if they vote no.
The problem is that there are at least some of the commissioners uncomfortable without the exterior lower mullions. And that might cause some of the commissioners to say no. And you have to have at least 4 of us to say yes.
Okay.
In other words, there may be a different window manufacturer that would allow you to do.
Oh.
Grids on top of them.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Commissioner Welch.
Thank you. You know, there may be an in-between here. You know, some of the upper windows that are gonna be hinged out are gonna look the same with the same grid pattern and what have you, you know, which I believe is appropriate. I mean, maybe there's a middle ground where we can have the outward facing windows. I still think it's gonna take time to do it, and I might suggest we continue to the next meeting. Just a site visit may be appropriate, just to get a better look to if there's a middle road here that we can take. What's facing the street, I think the 6/6 is fairly critical to it. And there may be an option that they can explore that would at least be, you know, what's in the back side of the house, I'm less concerned about, I think. But so it would be the least visible would, you know, I would be, obviously, we can talk about that. So what I'm suggesting is that we do plan a site visit, just so a couple of commissioners can get a good idea about the legitimate condition of the windows and the potential for repair versus the absolute need for replacement. And then what does the house actually look like from what particular angle, to see if there's some middle ground we can reach.
Thank you.
That was another one of my questions. This is the back of the home right now, is what are our requirements on these windows? As far as are they gonna fall, or what are they seen from the public ways, which we got pretty good.
We can't see anything in some of that, can we?
If you go up the next street. And you look behind that house, there's gonna be 2 windows that you can see from the street.
Now, well, that's why my suggestion was that, at least to have a, take a drive around and
To
take.
be able to see what you can and can't see.
Right.
That's what I should, but I haven't been down that street.
Yeah. Very difficult to see.
So if we could continue with the site visit, I thought that would be getting the answers, I think they would do. Here,
Absolutely.
that may be most fair. It's hard to vote on something. Lying when we're not,
Right.
right now. Yeah. Would the commissioners be okay with that?
Well, it's up to the petitioner.
So I just wanted to, that you would be able to be available for a site.
Sure.
So that's something that I think would work for you. We postpone it, we come, the site visit, a couple of us come out to the house and look with. Sure. All right, so let's ask the commission to vote to allow the petition to be moved to the next historical commission meeting to give us time for a site visit. Thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Vincent. Thank you, Bill, Colin, and Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Night. Night.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, here's your card.
Rich window.
Yeah.
Contact info. Or you can like, right there. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so we have next an environmental review for 154.
When will you say, James?
Oh, I'm sorry, did I miss something? Okay, one St. James, Window Tours and Lattice, there's someone here from 180 St. James, come on down, please. Welcome back. Give us the names and residential address again.
I'm Donald Holmes, the owner of the St. James. I could.
And your residential address.
One 2 South Road.
Thank you. Okay, so this is a request for an application for certificate of hardship.
Do you want me to give an overview real quick?
Sure.
It's been from a stop work order. So, prior to Alvin departing for engineering, Ian and I worked on a stop work order regarding the door and the lattice. I believe, Donald came in front of the commission, back in 2022, got some approvals. It looks like the lattice that was installed, differed and I just lost my kind of and then the door looked like it was maybe misaligned with what was approved, and then thereafter I noticed that the windows had been also changed out, not in correspondence with this time, the certificate, one of the certificates, so that's how we, and then Donald reached out to me, and that's where we are today. So he's coming in, asking for a certificate of hardship.
Basic problem, but you're not.
So, I think this July will be 3 years since I've owned the property. And the windows, I've come back and forth and I've talked with you guys and told you how the windows that were historically correct were just completely out of my budget, and I had a contractor who I ended up parting ways with, and he has a history here, but he kind of he didn't do some of the work that he was supposed to do, so that kind of dampened on my budget. And then I got a new contractor and we went through the budget and getting this thing tidied up and just getting to certificate of occupancy, getting a CO was our main concern, and having historically correct windows, which wasn't in the budget. Now, the house was vandalized at some point, and the window frame, the door was smashed out and somebody got into the property. And so just after dealing with vandalism and homeless people being at the property, I had to make a decision to get this place tidied up because I'm paying the mortgage and I'm just, just leaving it out, honestly.
So the two issues are the windows.
The windows, and I lost my car, so I'm having trouble navigating through this. But the windows that were approved were supposed to be black, fully vinyl, from what I recall, and the windows that were installed were white.
Yeah, the exterior of the window were supposed to be black.
Yeah, so,
So the contractor put in white windows instead of black?
No, the contractor put in beams, he did other things that took away from the budget. So before I was coming to the commission, I don't think you were here at that point, and I already didn't have a budget for historically correct units. And then I ran into some issues with a contractor, and it was just completely out of range at that point.
So the windows are not the correct color.
Correct.
And the door.
Was the door just something you did temporarily to secure the property?
I mean,
Was the front door to just secure the property?
yes,
So
absolutely.
but is that door gonna stay, or did you just put that up to secure the property? Because
Took
somebody
it
could-
up to make sure the property was secure, absolutely.
Right, but it's not.
But is it gonna go back to what you agreed to? That's.
We never did, I never had a door, the door was never discussed with the commission, I remember.
Oh, this was probably the original door,
Yeah.
right? So it wasn't a problem, but now it's, now it's something to talk about, yeah.
So, if I may say something. So, when we came in the project, though, obviously I know down for it, and, we didn't work on this originally, so we came in after. The house wasn't weather tight, so the contractors that worked on it. The house wasn't weather tight, the windows were broken, they were vandalized, doors were vandalized, kicked in, multiple times, front and back door. So we had to get this house weather tight, or else they won't even inspections on it. So his budget was significantly reduced. So literally half of this project, I'm doing it because he's my friend. He has no line item, but I'm doing it just because he's my friend. It's his grandparents' house. He's trying to get it redone. He has his kids, visitation. He's trying to have a home for them. And he's paying a mortgage and paying for another place to live. So I understand that the commission has their standards. So I think pretty much what he wants to ask is the windows, obviously is an issue, if the windows can be addressed, because we just replaced the windows.
Right, so he's
Most of the original windows are still there.
He's asking for the white windows to remain.
Correct.
Even though they were originally approved to be black.
Correct.
Not the first three of us.
Correct. But yeah, they were, like I said, just to get the house weather tight from the elements, rodents, cetera.
Well, what about the lattice?
The.
Yeah.
Not correct, right?
Weird.
So the lattice is here.
What's the lattice?
So the lattice, we replaced parts that were broken, but we replicated the pattern.
Yeah, so this was the lattice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that all got painted,
okay,
all
so,
the same color, yeah.
yeah, so,
That was just initially when we did it, but then we went through and that all got painted the same color. That's the way it is.
So the lattice no longer is an issue.
so this is the historical photo.
Those up in this house for.
Yeah.
This, but it's not a super.
So I mean, the piece with the lattice, if it was part of the, what did we agree to? What was in the motion on the piece with the lattice? If it's to restore what's there, what he has there,
So that's,
he just feathered it in, and that's.
What I'm trying to find.
so, this is where there's a little bit of, lost in translation since Alvin helped start this.
Yeah.
So just give me this. So these are the original ones. Front door to include repairing and painting. So that was.
Changing the design material, yeah.
Design. So then the door was replaced. Then we have replaced 34 windows. Exterior color will be black.
It's, yeah,
And grid, we have the front door again, this was a couple months, this was 2 weeks later. So an update to the door and then an update to the window. So I think with the lattice, it was probably never discussed. It was more, the lattice was removed and then as you saw in the pictures, you know, they were replaced. Some of it were, replaced.
And then painted.
So that we just repaired it, just tried to mirror it. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's possible the lattice is a non-issue.
That's what I'm reading, because I don't see the lattice in any sheet.
Okay, yeah, so
So the lattice is a non-issue. The door at the moment is a temporary door. So the real issue that you're asking is to leave the white windows. That were supposed to be white.
And some of the windows were white already. My grandparents changed some of them with that one. Some of them were already white.
And then the issue too is, obviously with the windows, we didn't replace them all. That, with the reduced budget, if you got 34 windows of what historical society wanted, it's a quarter. And that's just windows and
Mr. Chair,
we have to do everything.
Yes, Commissioner Walsh.
my first question is, when you found this, you weren't able to complete this in the way that we approved. Why didn't you come back to see us? In order to have some, so we could figure out some pathway for you to finish the house appropriately.
Came to the commission and each time it just. Every time I made a suggestion as to what was in my budget, it was, well, can you find this window? Can you find that window? It has been 3 years out of the property.
Right, but my point is that we had what I saw there, 3 different agreements for work to be done that was previously approved by us. So when you realized that you weren't gonna be able to complete it the way it was approved, I mean, my question is, why didn't you come back before us? But that's just a technicality. I was just wondering if you realized if you thought you didn't have to or something like that, or if you just didn't.
3 years, I had to get a certificate of occupancy. It wasn't, I came and I tried to work with the commission from the beginning there. Alvin is the one who told me that I could have white windows and so on and so forth. I never threw Alvin under the bus for that, but I couldn't afford it. I just could not afford it.
Because that's not the criteria. But you agreed at some point. You sat at a meeting when especially, I mean, my signature's on all those, several of those papers. So you must have agreed to the windows in black slimline windows in black. I mean, you knew at the time what it was gonna cost you, cause you must have had the details in front of us.
Their compassion letter, I read all of that. That you wrote on February the 5th as a part of this application. Did you write this letter yourself?
Absolutely.
Okay. So it seems that you, are currently working, how many jobs?
3,
Okay, and how long have you been doing that?
past 2 years.
So, I think the commission rightly wants to know whether you are a scofflaw and you didn't do what you wanted to do and you just ignored us, what you said you would do. Or whether you were overwhelmed by your current working conditions, in some way that it just slipped your mind.
Yeah, it got to a point where, yes, there was a time lapse, of course, just from working and being busy and. Yeah. Just overwhelmed in general by the whole process from the beginning.
If I may add, so, I mean, obviously I know him very well and talk a lot, and we were doing another project, that's why we couldn't originally take his project. But he would tell me the problems he had, and I tried to consult him as best I could, but he just got taken advantage of by some contractor. That's basically what it was. He was working to pay what got paid to original contractors, he still has to pay that note, the money that got dispersed. So, and then he has to try to see his kids and pay for someone else, where else to live when he's paying for houses. So he got taken advantage of and overwhelmed, where he wasn't able to oversee the project the way he should have. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
That's the hardship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, personally, the biggest problem is those glaring white windows. We talked about it, you know, we talked about it, it's a problem. So that's what I think we gotta try and work out. I mean, I remember you coming a few times, and it was your grandfather's thing, I really respect that you're trying to keep it and go, but remember, in a way, we're all stewards of these properties, they've been around over 100 years. Right, so we're kind of in one segment at a time, and what the whole purpose of this is to try and kind of keep that over time. Because once it's changed, right? And then once you have windows, the people next door are gonna point to your house and say, well, that dude's got white windows, why can't I have white windows? So, like the last one, the way to look at this might be what can be seen from the public way. Because there's nothing in back of it, there's no screen in back of it, it's only what can be seen from the front and the sides. So the compromise might be to deal with what's in the front and try and make what you can see from the street black. Because that's what you agreed to. And that would, I think, check a lot of boxes for the store commission. And it would live up to what you're committed to and would look appropriate.
Commissioner Nestor just brought up a possible important piece of information. That is it probable that the exterior of these windows be painted black?
Yeah, I mean, that's something we can look into, we got to get the final paint that would adhere to that.
Right, I've seen it done.
Yeah.
So the answer to the question.
It's loud, so Commissioner Walsh can hear what's being said as well.
Yes, we're discussing the possibility of, the applicant considering painting these black and thus being able to continue. But that would be a very strong commitment on your part.
If they're it just depends, part of it depends on the model. If it's an appropriate model window, but it's just in white, I would not object to them painting them black. I mean, it's obviously got to do it correctly in order to have it last appropriate. But no, it's only because we've heard the whole plan, we approved it, we signed it, and we gave it to them, and then it didn't get done. And I would expect that, I'm not trying to lecture you for this. You should have just come before us right away. And we could have maybe put some other plan in place where over time you replace the windows with the appropriate ones or whatever. And we could still do that, but I like the idea of what's visible from the street versus what isn't relative to, helping you mitigate this problem. But I don't see that I'm gonna tell you right now, I can't vote for white windows in the house. Especially if they're not even the same model, if they're just regular vinyl windows with the thick sill on the bottom. There's a reason we do slimline, because they sit low on the windowsill and they look more like an original window. I don't know, maybe you do have those, and if you had those, then I would be certainly amenable to painting them black and giving you time to do it. Not saying you have to do it in a week, giving you an appropriate amount of time to do it. So I'm open to suggestions.
Watch if I may, just to be clear, the windows that were approved were installed, but they were installed in white.
Okay, that's good. That's good news.
Is that true? No. Oh, no, so a different ones.
They're different windows, the original ones approved and had mullions.
Can you, I think we had pictures of the one, are these the ones you installed?
Yes.
So they weren't the ones that the model we approved in white.
Yeah, the ones we approved were silver line V1 slimline with exterior grids to match existing.
Right.
That was in September of 20.
And what are these? I can see 1/1s there
These are 1/1s, yeah.
instead of it with no grids.
Which seems to be the bulk of what's in the house now anyway.
Well, this is
So if I may, could I ask, so if those windows are in black, could we omit the mullions, or do you have to have them? You really can't add those after per se, is that.
No, it's part, yeah, you have to. So do we have like a current picture of what the house looks like now,
I
Yeah.
had it up there.
That's it.
I found my thing.
There it is.
Finally.
another door.
Hi.
That's the back door though, that the commission doesn't control that one, right?
No, that's
No, you
the
can't-
back door.
public way, you can't see it from a public way,
Not
it's
visible. Good.
not visible from a public way, so.
These were the photos that
And that's some levity. Technology is our friend, right?
When it works, beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing.
Hey.
Yep, you can see those little white outlines.
Yeah, stick out.
It's a great old house, though.
Got great bones,
It,
got great bones.
See the.
So the windows behind the plywood, are they just been rear trim windows, or is there already vinyl there?
Yeah, so-
Just put plywood there.
So the windows are replacing, so the exterior trim didn't get touched at all. So basically, the windows were installed from the inside, so it didn't affect the outside trim. So some of those windows are still the replacement, the original windows, but we left the plywood up.
For security, I get it.
For
I'm
security,
just asking,
because it
them,
just-
window was behind it, that's all.
So,
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
if I may, so kind of what we're asking is, because obviously we're going and I didn't realize it, so you did do a stop. We're asking like, because I think we have until April, which we might have to push out a little bit longer. Drywall and stuff is getting done, probably within the next week. We're gonna start putting it back together. We want to be able to have time to get him in the house, get a CO, and then he can address your concerns. Just give him a little window to be able to do that without stopping work. Because by stopping work, he has to pay a mortgage And then he has to pay another place to live, that's what's, you know, further,
Sure.
you know.
Well, let's work on the solution.
So what I'm hearing is that the possible solution is once you have your CO, then you can work on replacing the non-approved windows with the approved black windows.
Because the windows that we put in were basically, because they were broken. And we had to have the house weather tight. And that was the most economical way. Because right now, like I said, the budget, we're working on $180,000 budget originally. And we're working with half. To do all of the same work that was in that 180, so we're just trying to get it in the house, and then we can go forward with your concerns.
So what I'm hearing is that these windows are also temporary, like the doors. That's what you're saying, because you're saying once you are in with your CO, then you can start working on taking these temporary windows out, and replacing them one at a
Getting
time.
in compliance, exactly.
One at a time with the windows that were approved.
Yes.
That's what. So you anticipate you'll have occupancy, but.
Probably in the next couple months, we should
let's
be
say
done.
by end of May.
Yeah.
So then, would you be able to replace the windows that are visible from the public way within the next year?
Yeah, and giving them time, that will be amazing, because then we can just start, you know, placing, you know, the front, the front, you know, then work his way up to it, but that way he'll have a place for himself and his family to be able to consolidate his expenses.
What do you think about that possibility, commissioners?
I think that's a good possibility. It's, it just has to be an agreement that he keeps.
Stop work would be lifted in order for you to get your CO. And then we do a year to replace
Now,
the windows that are due for the public way with the original silver line V1 black.
For clarification purposes, the original certificate was for 34 windows. Are you intending on replacing all 34, or are you?
well, I mean, that's gonna dictate on the budget, so we replaced what was broken, so we replaced.
Do we wanna count? Do we count with the street, and estimate
14,
how many
15,
windows it would be that you can see?
So I was thinking,
It probably isn't 34.
if the commission would want to entertain it, like maybe it's front facing windows over a year, and then the remaining windows maybe, so it's kind of like a phase. Or if you abandon 34 windows altogether, I think the commission would want to know that.
Yeah, that's okay with me as long as the manufacturer is still making you the windows. You know, concern.
And then you would have to come back for the door replacement. I think up to.
Also, you write really well and very impassioned. If you could just keep us maybe apprised of your success as you're going along, it would allay a lot of our concerns. And we want you to succeed and have this home for, as you envision it, and as meets the kind of thing you want to hand down to these children. Okay, so.
Then you're part of our community. You're around the corner from him, you're a Dartmouth student. Right, so I see your house 10 times a day. You buy it 10 times a day.
Right.
If you need help, or you need somebody looking on buildings, you can ask your neighbors.
That's
But my only, and thank you for your service as a fireman, you keep all the safe. My only ask, with all respect, that whatever you agree to, you do it. And if you can't do it, come back and say, okay, I know we agreed to this, but. Right, because integrity is important, and if you can't, it's okay, but you gotta go back and say, hey, I tried, not trying to have a problem. Right,
another way.
then your integrity is still intact, and you can kind of work it out. But when people don't. You look at people different.
Yeah.
Right? So.
So, when all this said, is there a motion by commissioner to at least begin the resolve of this stuff?
How many windows could commit to?
Those,
I don't think.
I guess you could ask,
Motion, I think it has to come from.
yeah, you could ask for a motion and then someone says so moved, so.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Mr. Chair?
Vincent, you had a question?
Yeah, is this another site visit so we can be more specific and know what we're doing?
I don't know if I feel that way particularly, but I might like a site visit during the work.
I mean, I'm just thinking if some windows we know we don't have to be concerned with at all, and what would other windows be? How many of them and what time frame? Okay, if you're not concerned, I'm okay.
Well, maybe maybe the motion that I'm asking for might solve that comment. So what I move is, what I suggest, if somebody can give me a motion to allow the work order to be lifted so the homeowner can obtain a certificate of occupancy by the end of May. And at that time, to give him 1 year to replace all the temporary windows that are now on the front and two sides of the house with the original Silverline V1 series in black as originally approved. And any change to that, the homeowner will come back to discuss his timing. And eventually with the door that is also temporary, he will come back to discuss the door before replacing or removing the temporary.
Don't move.
second,
Second?
Public comment?
yeah,
So quick question. So you're saying once he gets a CO, a year from CO,
from May,
it starts.
right?
Yes.
Well, it ends.
That's very reasonable.
And you need to come back.
It ends.
Right.
It starts, kind of when you leave, but we know that you're gonna have to get in first, so.
So before I have a vote on this motion, do we have any commentary either for or not for this application for hardship at 180 St. James Avenue?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Andrew helped me out here, that you may not need a public hearing here because he's just re-agreeing to things that had public hearings previously and were okayed by us. We're just extending the time on those particular issues. But I think if they remain the same, then you don't have to rehear it.
yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how I communicate this with the building department. I guess I could just email them or explain to them the process.
Our request lift the stop work.
Yeah.
Sublime.
I'm thinking that it might be good to issue a certificate just because it kind of reinforces that 1 year.
You're gonna memorialize the conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so then I guess I'll accept your suggestion that we don't need.
No, we're on the motion, you can just have a vote on it, I was just suggesting you might not need it. But it won't hurt to have it, and I think Andrew, you were just suggesting we have it, right?
yeah, I was suggesting having it just so it's memorialized and documented.
So then, Harry, you had your hand.
Yeah, my name is Harry Seymour, I live at 68 Washington Road, and I would say that I am for the way this is being worked out, and I think, it's gotta be a little frustrating for the owner here to try to get things done when there are so many variables that are out of his control. But I think you're working it through, and I think that's the way it should go.
Thank you. Anyone else, comments? Okay, we'll come back to the commission. So there is a motion on the floor, it's been seconded. Any other further discussion, I request a vote.
Talk it to me.
I'll start with Commissioner Zorzi,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes,
thank you, Commissioner Nestor,
Yes.
thank you. Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
and Commissioner Nardi is yes. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, fine, I'll be around.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I'll put that on my calendar.
What is it? That's what I did.
Okay, so we have CPA related letters of support.
No, we're in Port Catherine. We put that word.
Hold on, it's like two things in there.
But I don't see it.
Here, but I don't see it in
Let's see, the first page would look like this. Environmental review.
Oh, did the 259?
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think it was squad, yeah, so.
It's
They
not
put-
259?
No, it's actually 154.
It's actually
Yeah.
on the top.
Yeah, yeah, it's this, it is this one.
Okay, so
It says 250.
it's 154.
154 days.
Catherine.
Catherine,
yes.
Yeah.
Catherine,
All right, good enough.
Yeah.
Now I know.
In the new application, I have that spot top of that.
So is there someone here for 154 count? Not a we're doing. Val, please give us your name and your credential address for the record.
Williams.
can you speak up so he can hear you?
Denzel Williams, 30 Western Road.
President Williams, 23 Wilson Street.
Here it is.
Yeah, so the property is 259 Main Street. The ad is at 1 for a cab, because that's what business is. So it's kind of.
Okay.
So we are discussing 259 base.
Yes, because it's the whole shop.
The corner, yeah, it's the corner,
It's still
the
that,
corner retail spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
it just had multiple addresses, but they'll still be pointed to the right of it.
Yeah.
So the proposed work for this review is exterior renewal, damage repairs, facade, color renewal. No, where? Sure. Or you.
And basically windows for those cracks, where it's big from the exterior of the building.
With cracks, holes, where it's shading.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, I'll go ahead. Okay, so tell us about your project.
So basically, we are contracted with the city, with the storefront,
Storefront improvement.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, storefront improvement. And we're looking mainly to replace the broken windows and change the color of the exterior, to kind of give it like a facelift, if you will.
Report. Parent to building.
Keyboard.
Very miles, maybe not.
Did it want yours?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to probably grab that keyboard behind you.
Nope. Cooperating.
Does it look like this?
Not just as a.
Yeah, it's the
This is
distance.
all different.
Yes.
No, no.
Moving on.
You don't need this?
No, not probably.
You want it as a backup?
Yeah, I will take it out.
Oh, see?
Tell your keyboard.
Utility is everything, right?
Is it this? The front of what?
Yes, that's the corner. They,
There it is.
So basically, you're repairing the thing and repainting.
yeah,
Is there any change that to the windows or the?
no, there's about,
frames.
I believe there's 18, no, frames are always gonna stay the same. There's about 18 cracked, and damaged windows that are getting replaced.
Okay.
So it's
Same exact windows, everything.
They're all gonna be black, they're all gonna
Yep.
look just like they are now.
Yep, no frame change, no structural change.
So we're not seeing reflective glass, it's just the.
Shining.
That's just shine.
Okay.
So
So you're gonna be replacing with clear glass, so you can see inside. Yeah. And I don't think we control color. No, just curious what color you think, I think you said you were gonna repaint.
So there were two, I actually kept that kind of open because I didn't know, based on our communication. I didn't know if there was a requirement on color.
There's not, it's just a curiosity.
Fair fox brown, I believe it is. I have the color chart here. So
White, no, I wasn't sure.
it was on the darker side because we wanted to last. Yeah, that's the. People on the.
Oh, there you go.
wow. And so the windows will be black and then this brown. Is that right?
So the windows of framing, you're saying?
That
frames
being
of the
in-
The windows are black now.
Yeah.
All the window frames are all black.
Yeah.
So you're gonna replace them with the same one, leave them and replace the
Exactly.
glass the same.
All that's gonna be the same, the
Right.
color of the.
The outside walls, instead of the tan, is gonna be
Yeah, exactly.
Fairfax brown.
Exactly.
Right.
And we went darker just to kind of. Black and warmer, or just exactly.
And is there gonna be awnings added as well?
So there's gonna be an awning replace, it's gonna be the exact same, it's just gonna be black.
Okay.
that way.
Yeah, exactly. That's the actually, that was drawn up, right now it's green.
Yeah.
It's green.
But that was drawn.
Pizza has really good food, by the way. You guys have.
But you see, like, next to the door, I know it's.
So it's all saying, you're replacing, what you see, it's gonna be replaced with new material, the same color and same style.
Exactly. Not sure.
No changes to any of the lighting,
No.
fancy black historic lights are all gonna stay.
Is it gooseneck?
Yeah.
Yeah, keeping the same thing, it's at the next.
Okay. So this is a environment review where we need to submit or vote on something.
No adverse.
No adverse effect.
Yeah.
Right?
Wouldn't be a bad thing, so.
I always err on the side of caution and would recommend taking public input.
So any other comments, requests, interests, questions from commissioners? Commissioner Walsh, anything?
No, I'm good.
We're trying to talk a little louder for you.
Thank you.
Okay. We're getting much.
Yeah.
All right, so without any further questions at the moment, I'll open it up to the public. Is there anyone who would like to speak either in favor or not for the renovations, repairs for 259 Bay, 154 Catherine? As heard during the meeting. Thank you, so come back to the commission. I'm open to motion to allow staff to write a letter of support and no negative impact to the district.
Second.
We have motion and second discussion regarding that. Okay, I'll take a vote. Commissioner Nespor,
Yes.
Commissioner Nardi is yes, Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Zorzi,
Yes.
and Commissioner Walsh.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. So thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you for all the
Project.
When you be done. To see it.
So this is kind of we're still contracting with the city now, they're reviewing our contract actually. So hopefully, the painter wanted to wait till the snow season stops. So hopefully by the summer. I do have a question. So.
Jamaican beef patties.
Yeah, so before it's green, I'm on the top. It's kind of like.
Ask me the question about the green right here.
Yeah, I'm just curious, if you were to make that black and then paint it brown, as on the full exterior.
You're two times.
So as it is now, yeah, I was just asking, like, did we just okay all brown, or is it okay if we do a black?
I think because it is a detail with the black, we probably give much nicer.
Okay.
You'll see it. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's actually the second time that whole complex got the storefront improvement. First time, the place was really out. It was probably 18 years ago, 20 years ago. Made a giant difference what you see there, because the city even did the curb cuts.
Yeah.
They didn't just, pay somebody to repaint it. They did the intersection. It really made a big impact on that point.
One thing they didn't do is they didn't put them around to go to the door.
Yeah.
Keep tripping.
Yes.
So we ended up doing that. People was
You can
tripping.
actually see.
Yeah.
And doing so.
Yeah, well, you had to let the petitioner, you had to let the tenant do something, right? They had to pay for something, I mean, you couldn't just have, they pay for everything.
I wanna know when your next show is, cause you are hilarious. I wanna know when your next show
Use
is.
the new friends. Take your waiter to waitress house.
That's it. Wow.
Okay, so this is.
It will be, matter,
Okay. Sure, okay. Thank you guys. Nice meeting you.
Yes.
So, okay, we move on to the superintendent request.
Yes.
Okay, so first on the agenda, 25 Parker Street, Immaculate Conception. Is someone here to speak on behalf?
Yes.
So what's your name?
Peter spelled exactly first name Tiotr.
Okay. And your residential address?
25 Parker Street.
So this is a request for support, or whatever support,
Correct.
and what it's about.
It's basically, last year we asked also for the letter of support and we got it, but we are not chosen by CPA because there's a lot of petitions for that. And I was asked to come back for this year to get the new letter. We're able to finish only 4 windows last year with our own money, and we ran out of the funds for that. This is why this year we're asking again. We can only ask for non-religious windows. That means we understand that like you see the top 2, we have to do it ourselves, but top lower, we can possibly get money for this. We have total of 12 non-religious windows that they have to be done, and 6 religious. Means basically I am asking for grant about $150,000. If they give less, that's fine with us too. You can go with small ones, like at the top, those ones are religious, but over there, this is like the front of the church. Second picture is the choir, and other 2 is like the side of the church as well. That means that's basically what I'm asking from this project. If we can just get a letter of support that they can later think about it if they want it or not. It's no change of color of anything. It basically they come, they remove the whole panel, they don't remove the frame, and they take to the studio and they bring back from the studio.
They're going to take. Again?
Huge.
Okay. Questions from the commission? Any questions? Commissioner Walsh,
Oh, sir.
thank you. These are not public hearings, so we can just move to motions to offer a letter of support.
Yeah, maybe you guys can help me due to your experience, but they've been asking for letters of like determination of eligibility and letters of support. I kind of have viewed it as why not do it all at once? I determine that it's eligible as a historic structure and offer your letter of support. That's how I would recommend moving forward, having not done this.
You agree with that? Commissioner Walsh, this is what we used to do in the past?
What, putting all together?
Yeah,
Yeah, I do.
so it's, if I remember the wording, it's that the structure is historically significant.
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
Determination.
so.
So we would be talking about 12 number 1 and number 2 on the agenda for.
I would do them separately.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I was recommending.
All right, so can I request a motion to do so for a letter of support on 25 Parker Street, the stained glass window restoration?
And make a motion to support the, to provide a support letter of eligibility to restore the stained glass windows.
Second.
Any further discussion? Vote. Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Zorzi,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Nestor,
Yes.
Commissioner Nardi is yes. Then I ask for a motion for letter of support for the window repair and replacement.
You should, so this is separate and I'll bring up this one too, because you haven't seen the information in this one yet. So that will be that. Sorry. I didn't- You wanna. Project?
Yeah. There is a second project with the regular windows. You can see them in the basement. Over there, regular glass windows with, we discovered this is not black, but it's like dark bronze frames over there. Exactly, since I put the application, I reached out to the person to supply the windows to 34 Copernic Street, that they're going to basically be the same way from Harvey. And exactly it's 84 number from West Springfield. They're going to be custom designed because they have to be. Believe it or not, they're not all the same sizes. and we're going to do them in the basement, a little bit on the side of the church. And major reason for them is it's 35 of them total. I can open only 2 of them. And energy efficient part over here is a big factor. That means we cannot basically open them. We can see the wind coming through, but we cannot open them and do anything with them as well. But we're not going to change colors as well. Everything will be, and design is the same thing how it is now.
Congratulations. Great window, great choice.
Yeah, very good, caller. Commissioner Walsh, any questions? Commissioner Walsh, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, just want to make sure. So I'm open to the motion for a letter of support. Commissioners,
Like,
So moved.
do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Take a vote for the letter of support for the window repair and replacement. As discussed. With that, Commissioner Nestor,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
yes.
Commissioner Zorzi.
Yes.
Commissioner Nardi is yes, Commissioner Paul.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a need for me to come for public hearing for second? Or no?
So for the windows, I think you'll have to come back.
For their windows.
Yeah, because it's a, yeah, you're in the immaculate.
That's it.
Conception.
Okay, very good.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next, on our agenda is 5-2 Sumner Avenue, stained glass window repairs and restoration.
The commission, I am Kira Holmes, we will be from Springfield Preservation Trust, but I'm representing this time Springfield Performing Arts Ventures and their CPA application for restoration of stained glass windows. And 52 Sumner Ave.
Your residential address?
I usually do Springfield one, if you want the Connecticut one, I could do that.
Wherever your residence is.
Okay,
for the record.
23 West Ave, Milford, Connecticut.
Yeah.
So, thank you everyone for making time for me tonight, I really appreciate it. So the CPA application, this is a 1912 church. This would be for restoration of stained glass windows, at least 27 of them if possible. The budget is under 300,000 still, not by much, but just a little. And it is for essentially these windows, unfortunately, some of them are held together by tape. It's not good. And we do have a quote on there that you can see in your packet, as well as I do have, I don't know if I've included these, but here's some pictures of windows as well. If anyone wants these, you're more than welcome to them. Show the damage better than others. And this is a nonprofit that does not have the budget to do this without a CPA application. So we are really hoping that we can do this. We're doing a partial match, not much, but essentially just for the scaffolding rental in this budget. And everything else is as follows. And we're looking for a support letter as well as historical determination letter as part of the CPA application request.
Never heard of a 10% inflation. Wow. What are we talking?
For any essentially construction costs, if something changes in your project budget, the CPA application allows you to do that.
So it's a contingency.
Yes.
Yeah.
You like it to say cost plus?
Well, they prefer you say cost minus.
Oh, well, there you go.
I just used whatever words CPA application would allow us to do.
So the total that this grant is 4580, is that right?
The total of the grant would be actually 4,600 less than the total estimate of the project, so it'd probably be about 222,800. Because again, we are doing $4,600 part of it. And again, if we don't have the inflation costs, then it might actually be even $20,000 less, but we know how prices go up with materials lately.
We're all about outlooks, you know that.
Yes.
Money parts on the way.
Any questions, Commissioner Walsh?
No, sir.
Thank you. So, commissioners, any further questions or can I put a motion? It's on forward the letter of support for determination.
So moved. So 52 separate.
Thank you very much. Take a vote. Start with Commissioner Meredith, yes, Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Zorza,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
and Commissioner Nestor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm also the commissioner for the next 4 applications, so if you want, I can stand up, say my name. and
Makes it
address again.
convenient.
What would you Perfect.
We'll just blink our eyes.
Okay, that sounds perfect. So again, here at Holmes, I'm now representing Springfield Commonwealth Academy. And the first application you have on your docket is 201 Maple Street.
Yes.
And this is an 1844 building originally that was then remodeled, as far as my understanding, in 1901. More affectionately known as the Andrew Wallace House. And what we are asking for our CPA application is windows, roofs, skylights. Unfortunately, as many of you know, the 2011 tornado hit this building. It has been in severe disrepair ever since, unfortunately. The new property owners hired me on to do the grant writing for this project because of knowing about historic preservation. And I drafted this proposal for everything with working with their contractor. And thus why the budget is for windows, roofs, and skylights only. Although you will see work in future projects that we hope for either in future grants or CPA application. So the budget will be actually $300,000 for the project. But what you see in here is future projects of exterior painting and more exterior repairs. Again, we are only focusing right now on the windows, which is 64, roof repair, and 4 skylights for this building.
Very nice.
And there's,
Consider your dying person.
yes. And it's also on the Springfield Preservation Trust most historic index endangered list.
Questions from commissioners?
No,
All right, we'll open to a motion to offer a letter of support and determination. So moved for 201 April. Second?
Second.
Thank you. I'll take the vote. Commissioner Zorzi,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh. Commissioner Walsh,
yes,
thank you. Commissioner Nerdy, yes, Commissioner Crowe.
Yes.
All right, and Commissioner Nestor.
Yeah.
Thank you, that was hard.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Now, let me blink again. And we're now on for
241.
Okay,
All right, so 241 Maple Street, this is affectionately called the David Ames Junior House, historically designed by Chauncey Shepherd about 1827, Federal Greek Revival, again, Maple Hill Historic District. And our application for this one, again, is for roof, windows, and this time starting some of the exterior work on the building. What we defer is paint repair, and again, you see that it's over 300,000. Again, the work that we'll be doing is only up to 300,000. We're not going to do the painting until either another grant or if we get a donation later. We are only applying for the windows, the exterior, and the roof repair at this point. You see a quote from the contractor in here as well. And again, unfortunately, this building was hit by a tornado. It's been in disrepair ever since. And we're hoping we can finally fix it and get it back to its historical character.
question from the commission?
You want to update outdoor recreation, I'll pass on.
Yes. I think I used a previous application.
Oh, good. We can say that.
Okay, can we get a motion to?
Make a motion for a letter of support for 241 Maple Street?
Yes, please.
Second.
Thank you very much. Take the vote. Commissioner Crowe?
Yes.
Commissioner Zorzi?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh?
yes,
Commissioner Nestor?
Yes.
And Commissioner Nardi is this.
Thank you again, Commissioner.
Your application is really nicely put together and very.
Makes it easy when you have all the everything right in front of you.
Very impressive.
Thank you.
So how many more?
I'm two more properties and then I'll stop with the commission's time. But I appreciate it.
We're delighted that you're finding ways to help these.
Our 275.
Yes, 275 Maple Street. So here is actually a stereoscope image that I'm not sure if I included in the packet. We will not be restoring it to this quality, I'm sorry. We do not have the resources. It took a lot of fun research in order to find anything, because there is no master's record on this property. Yes, please, fine, right ahead. So I found through looking at colleagues' articles as well as street directories that most likely this carriage house was originally made, built in somewhere between 1873 to 1874. Unfortunately, like I said, it will not get returned to this quality. It probably will get returned more to a 1930s image, which you can find a WPA image on the cover. I think I might have included it on the cover of this packet for you. Yes. Because at that point, Kirkham remodeled the building. So that architecture style to him was outdated, and so he remodeled it, is my best understanding. So it unfortunately is in, again, disrepair, roof, windows, exterior painting is what we need for this building. Right now, the current proposal for the full project is $269,297.60. Again, under the $300,000 per CPA. It does have an active leak for the carriage house, and we do not want to lose this historic building. So that's why the CPA application, I think I included photos too, but this is currently what it looks like, just in case anyone is curious, and here's the other side. Graffiti, windows in disrepair, roof in disrepair. It needs tender love and care. And that's what we're hoping to achieve.
No one is living with them.
No one is living in it as far as I know. There's no squatters to the property. The last time I visited was about a.
Codes, records.
I don't know.
I'm gonna bet money we'll find something.
But I haven't gone into the property, but I've done a few exterior looks while building the application.
Do we have any questions from the commission?
Nope.
None, I'll, be glad to listen to a motion from someone.
For the letter of support for 5 Maple Street.
Okay. Second. Thank you, Commissioner. We'll vote, starting with Commissioner Nestor,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Zorzi,
Yes.
Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Nardi, yes. Okay,
Thank you.
move on to 7 to 9 Stockbridge.
Yes.
Just to jump in, I'm going to have to abstain from the vote conversation on this one.
Okay.
So now I'm representing Springfield Preservation Trust at this moment. And this is our second application on 79 Stockbridge Street, which is the third oldest building in downtown Springfield and has been on the National Register since 1983. Once we were starting to dig into the project, we unfortunately found a stabilization issue. So O'Reilly, Talbot, and Holcomb revealed severe foundation failures due to poor subsoil conditions. The building's weight is unevenly distributed, causing significant floor settlement, particularly on the third floor. Stabilization plan includes installation of new support columns from basement to roof, redistribution of weight through new beams and bearing points, leveling of the floors to restore safe occupancy. We really need this in order to continue the project. I know we just voted on a roof, but we need to do this, otherwise we're not going to be able to save this building. And it's, again, another application for at least 300,000 at this point because of all of the issues with stabilization.
Questions from the commission?
Well, I was just wondering if we had a picture of that particular building, current picture.
I thought I put one in the packet,
Well,
but
you might have, but I'm not, I don't have a packet on my screen, unfortunately. I don't need to see it, I just would like to, if you have it, I figured.
I
Might
think
take a
that's still
second.
like an eighties image of it, so I guess I didn't include it in there. I think that's still an eighties image.
Right.
So if the committee would like, I can send updated pictures. I apologize, I guess I forgot to include it in your application. But I can show some beams and a current image. We also have it on our website too.
I just want to ask you the question that, is this a savable building?
To my understanding, yes, it is a savable building.
It's not gonna be good money after bad?
The trust has had a very successful track record of restoring buildings in the eighties. I know we have.
I understand, Carrie, I know that. My problem with it is, I don't ever doubt anything you tell us. You're okay with me, so don't worry about that. My question is, if the foundation is bad, that's the most difficult problem to solve within a reasonable financial range in order to save a building. So that's all. I was just wondering about that. I mean, I'm in favor of doing this. I just sometimes I just was wondering if it really is a savable building, or is it the potential that money could be better used somewhere else. But I'm not sure. What do you think? I mean, do you believe that's savable and that the money wouldn't be better served in other projects? It's okay with me.
I believe it's a savable building, and also with all the work getting done around this building too. To lose this one would be honestly a tragedy to the street.
I agree in general with that. Only to get really down to the bare bones is because I've seen it done a couple times where way too much money was spent on a building that wasn't either savable, or now a couple of 10 years later is just all falling apart again. But I agree with you on that. There's a lot going on there. It would be a decent building to save, but there is a point where I'm not going to make the line. I'm in favor of this. I just from a preservation point of view, I really I want to believe that you guys think this is the right thing to do, and you certainly have said so. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate your insight, Vinny, always, and please continue.
I can even comment that sometimes the reinforcing of a foundation that's against another foundation is not a bad idea. Because sometimes they work against each other to stay up. So probably not a bad idea with the structures on either side of it. Okay, so I'm open to hear.
So I make a motion for a letter of support for 7-9 Stockbridge Street.
Very
Second.
nice. Second.
Second.
Commissioner Nestor, thank you. So I'll start with a vote with Mr. Nardi. Yes. Commissioner Kroll.
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh.
Yes.
Commissioner Nestor. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commission. I know it's been a long evening. I appreciate everything you do for everybody. And if the press can ever help, let us know. And Happy New Year, since I haven't seen everybody since the New Year. So thank you.
So far, so good.
Should have hired her. Would have saved an hour and a half.
We're gonna move on to
Again, look me up
205
on
Eastern Avenue.
Preservation Trust. Call me, okay?
205 Eastern Avenue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're running out of time.
Okay, that's okay, next time, I'm tired of it, it's late and I'm so busy, every Timothy fall in pastor, at the cathedral, but, 57 Thompson Street's my, Springfield address.
Okay.
And I'm not doing off the record for Peter Zor's family?
Yeah.
Okay, good, he's a good guy. Yeah. Yeah.
So tell us about your project.
So I think Samantha handles this in our office, but primarily there were over 94, I might want to say, slate shingles that are in bad shape, we need to repair the slate roof, it's a slate roof. And it is just exactly what we said, repair it, and then there some vandalism. I saw in front, stained glass that was broken, even though we have protection, I gotta speak up for Commissioner Walsh. And then there is some deterioration with some masonry work that we wanna make sure we get repaired and tear down. It's a beautiful building. And we acquired it, we're doing some renovations internally, but in terms of sprucing up this what we want. Make sure that we take up, button up the outside exterior of that building and maintain it's a beautiful location. Yes, so we've had 3 different bids and proposals, and we look at them, and they flag drawings and all that good stuff, and gave us. It's like, I'm on the spiritual services side, but I'm here to answer any questions I can. It is very expensive. Well, it's more expensive to heat than it is anything else.
A lot of cubic feet.
30, 50 foot ceilings.
Yeah.
And you can see it's a lot of stained glass.
Questions from commissioners? None? Okay, well, we know the building and know the project. So I'll be open to.
Pose a letter of support for 205 Eastern Avenue.
Second,
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner.
So we'll start with Commissioner Paul.
Yes.
Commissioner Zorzi,
yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Nisbor,
Yes.
Commissioner Darby is yes.
Thank you all commissioners, and
Thank you for waiting.
well, I guess what we do now is we get a letter of support when we're involved in the actual work.
And you would come back
And come back.
with an actual application saying, this is
May not be-
proposing, here's the vendor, here's what it's gonna look like, here are the materials.
Only so many vendors want to do slate roofs.
Yeah, it's definitely
It's a,
there are some,
but you want to get good ones.
you do, yeah.
Then stained glass has been around for many years, so. Thank you, I guess my wait is over. Thank you, dinner.
There you go.
Yours is too, from what I see.
Okay.
Thank you. You didn't give me some.
He wasn't asked. Wasn't here, I wasn't asked.
I'm not asked for it.
Thank you. That goes to congratulations.
I'll probably send it to you in copies for the presentation. Sure, yeah, we're gonna write down the name of it. Just right this time, and you can put your name.
Remember about her and that.
Oh, it's quite a lot.
Section 106, review of 1295 State Street telecommunications antenna. Local range. Caution.
Co-locations.
Co-location.
Yeah.
So what can you feel about this?
I am uncertain about the particular motion.
There's a drawing, but I don't see an antenna.
So you have to be planning with her.
I mean, they're showing all the equipment, but I don't see on the outside what the.
I think it's all the way up the top here.
Oh, that
No, that's the.
No, it says existing.
It says existing.
weather bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it said, existing weather bank.
Weather vane is the antenna for the repeater?
No.
Remove this, remove that. Power converters, interconnectors, those. You know, all the stuff they have listed and all the pictures they have are all racks, which would all be on the inside of the building and we wouldn't care about. So what's the ask as far as the historic commission goes?
So on front page here, they have invite or comment on the fact that they love wrecking project on historical resources within the project's area.
It says they're in building system.
Yeah, and
There's no impact.
and so I think they were required to send it to us, so, because it's a section 106, so if there's no outside,
No adverse impact.
yeah.
Right.
Nothing happening on the exterior.
That's what I'm seeing,
That's what
but
we,
I don't make an assumption based on that, but that's what I see.
well, that's all we're seeing, so that's what should be in the
Okay.
determination.
Yeah.
And so, this is the request. We welcome comments regarding the factory co-location project on historical resources. But it appears to be all interior work. I should have made that clarification, but
Well, we can say that there's no negative impact. Maybe the fact that there's nothing happening on the exterior.
Yep.
And do I have a motion now?
No,
Do I have a second?
whichever one didn't do them, we
I
get.
think I heard you first.
Second.
All right,
Second.
Second is Commissioner Nestor. We'll start now. Mary is yes. Walter Cole,
Yes.
Marissa,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
and Commissioner Nestor.
Yeah.
looks like we have our guest for the night project.
So, since the Ignite Local Historic District Eversource gas meter.
Yes, so I think during our last meeting, I had inadvertently said electric meter, but Amy made the clarification that it's actually gas meter, so.
Okay.
And we have Amy, and I believe Rick is affiliated with Eversource as well, so they're both online.
Yeah, good evening. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. I was traveling for work today, so I'm still in my car. But
For your patience, sorry we pushed at the end, but that's just kind of where you fall.
yeah, no problem at all. So I appreciate the commission's time to talk about this project. We had a chance to, so Amy Henderson, Community Relations for Eversource. I cover the city of Springfield. And so we have a gas project in that's going to be taking place or is taking place in the McKnight neighborhood. And the project is to, and I have Rick Whaler, he's one of the supervisors at Eversource on as well. The project is we're replacing, our old gas main with the newer technology. And as part of those projects that we do throughout the street or throughout the city is we upgrade service lines and we move, when we're doing that, we move meters from inside the properties to outside. That's a new safety standard of ours. It allows us better access to the meter. And it's part of our new safety guidelines and safety standards. So in this, looking at this project, you'll see on the screen here, I sent this to Andrew, the addresses that are listed that we're looking at meters needing to be moved from inside to outside. I believe in a lot of these cases, the electric meters are actually already outside in some of these locations, but we believe after looking at the guidelines that the commission has on their website that we'll be able to adhere to either non-visible or minimally visible installations in many of these locations. In some cases, depending on obstacles that we run into in the residence itself, just based on the structure and piping, versus in taking into consideration all of the regulations that we also need to adhere to, state regulations and DPU regulations, as where gas meters are allowed to be placed on residences. We do our best to put them in a location that is either in the back or minimally visible. In the cases where they would be significantly visible, or I believe moderately visible is the other term, we would we understand that those would require a certificate of appropriateness. And we also are willing to work with the homeowner or the historic commission if you'd like, on providing some sort of screening, such as shrubbery, and we've done that in a lot of other communities. And so I have, unfortunately, it's hard to know which locations where the meter would be, where we need to relocate the meter, until we have an appointment with the customer. So we schedule an appointment and we have to do a pre-piping inspection and take all of those considerations into play when we're looking at where it would be able to be placed. And so based on, we've done this before in historic neighborhoods, but based on the sheer volume of what we're looking at for this project, it's significantly, I think, more addresses than what we've faced in the past. And so we wanted to work with the commission on the best way forward, just keeping all your time into consideration as far as paperwork and how you feel is best to proceed with this. And so I have also Rick on the line, and he can add a little bit more information as far as actual work. He is the supervisor overseeing this project.
Thanks, Amy. Yeah, so some of the stuff we consider, obviously we read through your guys' whole outline and what's expected. We definitely try to accommodate that first and foremost. Sometimes the basements are, finished fully, ceilings fully finished, which makes it difficult. We also try to avoid the driveway locations, because kind of like what Amy said, we're required to follow certain, standards and specs for when we install our meters places. So we try to avoid that, to avoid like the meter protection, like the bollards, because we don't want to really see those. People don't like to see those too much. So for the most part, we try to hide it as best we can. Some applications don't give us that option, being where the house is, or certain things that they've already done. But we're definitely, want to put this out there up front so we can, work together to get it, whatever needs to be done.
So I'd like to start with a couple of questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So,
Please.
I was hearing that there may be some things that cause a difficulty from moving it to a place that's less visible. But dollars is not considered one of those things that should be considered as something to hamper the location. Is that correct? In other words, you're not gonna hear, oh, it would cost us too much to put it in the back, that's why we're putting it on the front side.
No, that's not, it just comes down to basically the structure of the home, like Amy said, and stuff like that. Like if we can get it to the back, we would gladly put it in the back. Okay. We don't do it for price or convenience for ourselves. We, again, try to meet what the city's requirements or towns that we work in, and the customer. I mean, no one wants to see it in the front or, from a certain point, regardless of any home. So we try to accommodate, that first and foremost. The only thing that we do have to focus on is the functionality of the equipment. I mean, we can't just put it somewhere and not be able to get the service line to the new location, if that kind of helps you out.
But so my next question is, just so that I can remember correctly. The reading of the meters are not done by someone coming up to the meter and read anymore. They are electronically, the information is electronically sent from the meter out to the street where somebody drives by and gets that information. So they don't have to walk up to the meter, and that's not necessary. The only real reason that it's on the outside is so that if there is a gas leak at the meter, it's outside and it's easier to test than waiting for somebody to let you in. Is that all true?
I mean, they do read it electronically. They do need to approach them sometimes to, repair parts on them and stuff like that. But also to put it outside of the requirement for safety. I mean, like it also helps the fire department. Like if the house is burning down, it gives them a chance to get first access to that to turn that off. So,
Okay.
I mean, it's more for safety, not just convenience.
But they'll shut off the gas from the street if there's a big fire going. They're not gonna try to shut everybody's meter off individually. So,
But no, they wouldn't shut the entire street off. They usually shut off the home that's having an issue.
but from the street, wouldn't they?
Not always you can do that without having to physically dig it up. Like you'd have to bring in machines and everything like that to do something like that.
Oh, I thought there were shut offs in the street.
Not in everyone. You are right. There most of the all the newer stuff. So like when we do this project, we will actually have that option available. But a lot of the older stuff does not have that option.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because I'm hearing you putting in the new stuff now.
Yes. So the newer stuff definitely would have that option, like you're saying, which allows them to do that and shut the meter. Yes, correct.
The probability is that you'll be able to get it into the back of the house or in the back section of the sides of the house, but not close to the front. And if you did, you would be able to come to the commission and say why.
I mean, we'd definitely be able to come to you and give you a reason why. I mean, unless you want to, go in every look. I mean, it just depends on, like you said, the application.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking out loud, I don't know about the other commissions, but I'm just thinking out loud that to put a blanket yes on locations doesn't make any sense, because we have to be careful what we're saying yes to. However, it makes perhaps some sense that if it is in the back, then a certificate of non-applicability could be issued, meaning we already know it's in the back. We've already made that determination. But if it has to be on the sides or the front, then would behoove, at least me, to take a look at it individually. I'm not sure what the other commissioners have to say about that. But, and I have one last question. That is, when you said that you would be amenable to helping the homeowner putting some shrubs or so forth in the front of these things, would that cause difficulty for getting to the meter when you have a problem?
The shrub would sit about like a foot in front of it would be the requirement. We would set the shrub to where the requirement space of the meter is, for our
They're gonna have
our standards and stuff. And that way, as the bush grows, I mean, eventually, as years go on, you do have to trim them back behind it, but you still have the front face of it. You know what I mean? So you can still have access.
Yeah, that was my concern. So the homeowner would have to make sure they keep it trimmed back. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Any other commissioners, questions?
Yes. Mr. Chair, one of the issues that we've had a few times with another, with the electric company, I was gonna say another utility, but we all know, is that they didn't care what we thought or what we did. And they have put electric meters without even coming in front of us and just stuck them on the middle of in the front yard of, front wall of a historic building. So two things, I really like that you're here. I appreciate that you're here and that your goal is remarkable, that you want to work this out in a way. what I would like to suggest that we have to be careful with, I mean, some things we can blanket approve, and we probably could approve that if you know it's the back wall of a house, it's okay. The problem is the person assessing it has to understand our guidelines or what, Amy, like for what we're trying to accomplish here as opposed, and just instead of just being there saying, well, they're not gonna make us undo it if we put it in the wrong place, which is probably a true statement. It's not, I'd rather have us work it out ahead of time, and we're not against maybe taking some look at some of the less obvious ones to make sure that we're all on the same page, because any of us, we've been doing this a long time, everybody on this commission's been around a while. And we know that some houses, it's gonna be really difficult to fit our guidelines, and we should just mitigate it the best we can working together. So, again, I appreciate tremendously that you're sitting here talking to us. I think the start is, I think so far, everything you've said is just what we need to hear and we can really work with. The difference is only is to what extent we have to actually go look at something first. And would want somebody, from the company actually suggest, well, maybe this is one they should see or whatever, instead of just doing it and seeing what happens after. It sounds like a lot of work, but it really, and how many meters are we talking about in the historic district?
So there's close to 70, and that's why,
Oh,
you know,
okay,
we were,
I thought it was gonna be way more than that.
Well, that's what's already inside. So the other ones on the
Right.
project are already outside.
Yeah,
So
they're already outside.
they would stay in their same location.
Of course, you're right,
Yeah.
right, those are there.
yeah, so in total, I think there's like 134, but I think 70 are inside.
If 70 are outside and 70 are inside, the outside ones are not on our table right now. They exist.
Right.
70, I think, is a reasonable number that we could hope that you would give us the possibility on some of them to look at them before they just get put in. Even if your installation people think they're doing it in the right way, if there's any alternatives, we don't mind taking the time to check some of that. But again, I can't thank you enough for even sitting here trying to do this in a way that doesn't mar a historic district. We try to keep out the meters, and then to hide them is fantastic as well. So I'm on board with the start of this, and I'm not against that. Maybe we have to. I would hope that we would, if it was a really big question, that we would be consulted before they put something in. I'm not quite sure what you were thinking, but that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, that's all I got.
I mean, if you guys are willing, if you want to do something where we do like a site walk, now it's starting to get a little warmer out, we can walk the neighborhoods together or something if that's helpful. It's just the thing for us too, why we wanted to talk to you guys and get ahead of this, because the fact, like Amy said, like it's a full infrastructure replacement. So you're doing the entire mains, the services, the meters for like the entire neighborhoods. It's not like one off. And then with the piping, that's what we kind of wanted to talk to you too, so we can, like you said, like we want to be on the same page with everything we're doing. We just also try not to inconvenience the customer. Like, so if we go in there, they take a day off of work, we pick the piping location, then we go back again. Once you guys approve it, they got it. They're off again. That's our concern. Then we pipe it, then they're off again. For the time we have to do that tie over. Run that service and
I understand.
Yeah.
Some
That
of
was the other concern.
Blame on us.
Whatever. I don't know. I don't know. We don't like to blame anybody, but
No, I know it. But you see where I'm kind of trying to draw not a line, just
definitely
a connection between us, that we're looking at the things that may have a better option or not. And if you're sure there's no other option, but to let us know so that we can know it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So
There's a couple questions inside.
Yes, it seemed to me that you said that you were actually going to go through and do an assessment of all of the availability with all of these. And then you would know whether they have to be put on the sides or the front. Is that correct?
We can't just, like, you can't just go to the home and look at it from the outside and be like, yeah, we're gonna put it there, because you really don't know what the inside location looks like. What the application of the inside the home in the basement is like. If the basement isn't finished and it's wide open, then that gives us a good chance. And then say the outside of the house, right? Like no one's poured like a brand new patio, like $100,000 patio, or no one's, doesn't have a driveway on each side of the home. So you really have no choice. You know what I mean? You're not going to rip up someone's driveway.
But the assessment that you're doing will tell you that. You're going inside the homes, you're making this assessment, so you are going in all of them before you go in and do these? Are you doing them street by street? How are you approaching this to know what the scope of work will be?
So we send out customer letters to the customers who are affected in the neighborhood of this project. And as they call in, then we schedule an appointment and we go out there and we meet with them and kind of pick the location and try to work in that sense. And then once we realize that everything is historic, that's why we're having these meetings now, so we can get ahead of it and, with these locations, know where to put it. And then if, you guys approve or not approve, or we come up with a common place to put it.
I guess so. What I'm saying is, if you go to these locations and you determine that it can be placed in the back, I don't see that we need to see them. But if you determine that they have to be placed in the side of the front, would you then reach out to us?
If that's what you're asking, then we will do that. I could probably tell you most of them. I mean, we can do our best to get in the back, but most of them usually land on the sides. Like a side towards the back, we could, but most of them land on the side. You don't go all the way around to the back, but some you can. But some you can't get there. That's what I'm afraid of. But I mean, we can any way you guys want us to handle it. We're happy to work together and figure it out.
So, Rick, it's Walter Kroll.
Hey, Walter.
I appreciate you guys coming here. This just echo Vinny with that. I really appreciate the partnership and you guys coming to try and make this fit in. So, I live in McKnight. I'm actually on Dartmouth Street.
Okay.
So my suggestion would be you're going to get the hang of this after a couple sites. If you guys want to pick a street, I'd be happy to spend the day with you or however long it takes. Because after you get to the third or fourth location and we look at it and we see where it could go, kind of what's okay if it's in the back, it's not visible from a public way, you can't do it on the driveway side, okay, let's look on the other side, where can you put it there? After we do 4 or 5 of these on a street, or if you do a whole street, you're gonna kind of know what we're looking at, what kind of eyes we see.
Okay.
And then it's gonna be a whole lot easier for you guys, because you're gonna be looking at it the same way we kind of would. So if we were sitting here with an application, and you're already gonna know how we're gonna qualify and where we'd like to see it. And then if there's an exception, you know, okay, this doesn't fit what they're looking for, this is gonna have to go in the front, and we'll have to come in.
Yeah, I'd be definitely happy to do that. So I can, Amy, if you wouldn't mind, we can try and set something up, and then we can get together and check some of those out. That'd be great.
That'd be great.
I think that's a good idea.
Because then you'll know.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I would rather know the expectation right up front, than have to, constantly question or worry what we're doing,
Great. Well, then our staff can break down with the commissioner and be great.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and I'll add, I think that everyone knows here, but all of this work is done at no cost to the customer.
So as the commissioners said, thank you very much for coming to us in advance.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you for your help.
Okay, thank you. We'll be in touch.
Have a nice night.
You too.
You too.
Bye-bye.
So we have a review of 27 Pine Street. We did give a site visit. This is actually different, right?
207.
This, right? Oh.
The site visit that we did for the new ones, this is the
This is
one adjacent to it that we approved in 2002. right?
2022.
Yes. This is the one to the left of it that we actually had approved back in 2002.
So for those unaware, Walter, Al, and I met to do a site visit for 213 Pine Street, which were two duplexes that were approved last year. And while we were there, we saw, or we witnessed or observed, 207 Pine Street. There were a few certificates given out in 2022, I believe. And if I recall, the conversation from the site visit, we just wanted to check in and make sure that they're doing what they said they were going to do. So. This is the building as of June 2024. Good.
No, this is so the new build is to the right of this.
Okay.
Which they're already done. They came to us last year and they're already done. We went and looked at the finished product. This is from June of 2002.
Okay.
This was actually still during COVID and all the review we did. We had several meetings on this, if I remember right, online. It just struck us because this was back in 2022. These other guys came to us. Their stuff's already done.
Yeah, right.
So he's kind of been a work in progress. So we just wanted to check up to see what he was supposed to be building and kind of where he's at in the project. So. We got that right, Andrew?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the windows are black.
Pictures of them there. It was really cold that day.
Yeah, it was. It was like 0 chill.
There was a replacement of the front door. We spoke about the rear porches. But I don't say anything about the front porch. The upper front porch was gone. Correct?
Yes, I believe it might have had maybe a frame of some sort when we were there, but it was definitely not complete.
But they've laid it out, or it looks like.
It looks like there's gotta be something
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Right, but it's
To the
not,
door,
but what I'm saying is, it's not
Not
on
in the
the
plan.
notice of decision.
yes.
No. I just remember this being a lot, and we talked about a lot of stuff, and that this thing was still not completed. I thought it would be good for us to check in and see what we had agreed to and what has been done. So that we don't maybe have a problem.
Well, if we compare what we see right now in that photo. The notice of decision said nothing about removing or replacing or reconstructing either the upper or the lower front porches. It speaks about stairs and foundation and bulkhead, but nothing about the porches that I don't see anymore. Or the railings or the spindles.
In other words, they didn't apply for the much work,
Yeah, there's more work going on than what they applied.
so that's what was there.
Correct. You can see in this.
Removal of front stairs and reconstruction of new stairs and right hand doors.
The upper porch door was changed. Yeah, that panel door. Doing something else. The door, yeah, now has glass and some buttons in it. Yeah. So I would say, would be a bad idea to have someone come in and talk to us.
Okay. So based on the photos, I just want to what we can see, so nothing about the second floor porch door.
Nothing about second floor porch door or the second floor porch.
Yeah.
What about the first floor?
And there was nothing about the first floor porch, railings, spindles.
And he might have taken it out to replace the foundations, but
No. Not
that
that.
kind of looks like, well, he did something, because the roof's been done on the porch. But
He may be putting it back
it
later.
still would be good to ask, since
Yeah.
that wasn't really part of it, and we see that it's all missing. I just thought it would be a good time to, that way.
I think it's where you say, come on down.
Yeah, so second floor, front door, first floor, front door, correct, the first floor, porch, railings, windows. And I'm just gonna keep it somewhat vague and say work including but not limited to, and we'll get it in here.
This is your new application.
And it's, you know, because we noticed it's a good thing to do, before it's something that was.
Listen, I've been part of these projects where you do them and you agree to a bunch of stuff, and then time goes by and you're on one project and another project, and you have to make decisions based on what the builder says or what's there, and then you get to the end and someone says, hey, where'd that wood door come from? What do you mean? Because so much time has gone by, so it's, you know, sometimes it's not nefarious, it's just part of the process.
Right. Then we have this application checklist.
Yeah, so I guess next thing on the agenda is the administrative update, so you wrote that in there. So administrative updates. We have the new application that I sent out in an email for everyone to look at. If there's no comments, I'd like to start using that as soon as possible. So that way I can start getting you know, better information in our applications. And as we go along, if we need to make changes, that's okay, but this is generally the format that I want to go to, and if there's no, you know, glaring issues, I'll start working on getting this as the application we'll use going forward.
Yeah, I consider when you send, I think it's really great, very thorough.
And do you post color photographs for existing conditions?
Yeah, I can throw that in color photo.
Won't put anything here about samples, for example, sample window.
That's product specification. What is it?
I could put and or sample or something.
Sample usually go a lot more than.
Yeah.
Peter, did you just create all this yourself, or did you use some of the material that we had put together for suggestions?
It's a lot of hodgepodge stuff, so I did use some of the old applications, some of the stuff in you know, the guidelines, and so I just kind of pulled everything in and centralized everything, and then based on what I've been witnessing and observing.
It's definitely a step up, so nice job, filling in the blanks and putting all that stuff in there.
Will they be able to type on this?
I'm gonna make it so they will be able to.
Download.
Fillable form.
Yep, so I'm gonna do that as well.
On the application itself, there's someplace on the front of it that you can check out whether it's appropriateness, hardship, non-applicability.
So this is the page that you have in your hand on the other side. That's the one that they're gonna check which application they're gonna, I'm putting it all on one. So
Okay,
rather than having,
So this is part of the application.
yeah, the first page really, that first double page where all the text is like gray, so one page back, that's really just an
Okay, I see.
FYI.
Page one.
Yeah,
I see it now.
so, yeah, and then, like I said, I'm gonna, instead of having these different applications that all look the same except for what the application is, I'm just gonna throw it all on this and they will go through and check.
So what is the size of this type? right here.
Oh, that size font could probably be increased, but, that's probably a 10.
Yeah, I would suggest.
Can they, can they be able to fill this out online?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a fillable form.
That'd be a fillable form, that would be nice, because a lot of people's writing, you can't read.
Yeah, that's,
Hey.
I'm gonna try to,
I resemble that, Mark.
I'm gonna try to push it for you.
And the problem with the gray background is that it is harder to read.
Yeah, so I'll,
If you're gonna do it, make it really light,
yeah. Great,
because the whole point is that some of these are bilingual, and
mhm,
this is, English is not their first language, and
Yeah.
And then some others are just old.
yeah, no, and this is why I wanted to bring it to you all, so you could provide suggestions.
Right.
I think it's pretty. And the way I have it formatted is that, you know, these are kind of tearaway sheets, so if you're only doing Windows, you only need the submit page through, you don't need to fill out the rest of the applications.
You may have to walk some people.
Yeah, and that's, you know, to be expected, usually they're coming already asking me, so it's very rare that they're
At
filling.
least they have a step by step.
Yeah,
So the only good thing I would add is if there's a place to put for reference, you know, like where they're applying for window changes or sliding changes or carpentry changes, you could have something that said, did you know there's suggestions for window choices on the website with a link? Same thing with solar, like wherever where it says like the whatever section it is, you can reference on our website, so if they wanted to look at what windows have been approved or what we're looking for railings or what we're looking for solar guidelines.
Yeah.
It could just be a little thing with a link.
Yeah.
So if they're filling it out
See,
and they wanted the information, they go, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
They could click on it and they go right to it.
okay, yeah, I can.
Because this is all great, but that was one of the things that we had added in that, if there was a way for them to look at what the standard is.
Yeah.
Then because they'd be like, I don't know, the contractor tell me, well, what am I supposed to know? They could actually go and look at what's been approved or what is.
Okay, yeah, I can do it.
This is fabulous.
Yes.
Hey, this is like a double meeting, I wanna make sure we get overtime pay on this one.
I just have a few things left here, so no letters.
Is there something included, I'm sorry, is there something included that you can sign off for the contractor to speak for the homeowner? Like add that in there to something like that? Okay,
Check if property owner will be in attendance at the hearing, if not, correspondence from the property owner will authorize.
okay, perfect, thank you,
You just send that to attorney?
great job.
Oh, do you want me to send it to you?
Yeah,
attorney?
you already gotta send it to the attorney.
Yeah.
No, I think you sent it to me and I reviewed it, I just forgot if there was something in there.
Oh, so you forgot, is that what I heard?
Okay, coach, that's enough there, coach.
Careful, take you to the mat.
Yeah, so, no support letters were issued, like people updating it, 2 non-applicability certificates, the Buckingham Street one, and then I had 142 Thompson Street, which it was repair and maintenance to the front porch, but it was underneath, so, they're putting everything back together. And they're installing a rear, railing, but you couldn't see it because of a fence in the way. The fence was blocking it. The historic ordinances that are being rewritten should hopefully come soon, hopefully within the next meeting or two. And then for our next meeting, I have the notice that went out today. It's another big one, so a lot of CPA season. So this is it.
So we do have a roll call for the 20th.
Yeah.
Will we all be here on the 20th?
I will.
Commissioner Nestor, no, Commissioner Nardi, yes.
I'll have to check on that on the 20th. We have a meeting at the end of the month.
Commissioner Kroll,
Yeah.
possibly yes, so who's so far? Commissioner Walsh, are you still with us?
Nice, yeah, I'm still here, I haven't abandoned you yet.
Will you grant us your wonderful assistance?
I'll grant you my virtual presence on the 20th, very likely.
How excellent.
AI Walsh.
Or just A.
Almost there, yeah, we'll wait on hearing back from Marissa and then I'll check with Judy. So,
Oh, Judy's gonna have it.
yeah,
We let her go.
yeah,
That's right,
Right.
right.
so that just leaves public speak out.
All right, and we do have a
One last.
12-second public speak out session.
Are you kidding?
I wish you wouldn't give people so long.
It's been a long enough meeting.
Here, here.
That's a very succinct.
God bless you.
But without you there, we would be staring at a blank wall.
There you go.
All right.
And I am something good to look at, right?
It's incredible.
Yes, you are. It's the only reason I'm tuning in.
Do we need to move to adjourn?
I'll second that, Vinny.
So moved.
Second.
Go.
Go.
Okay.
All
All
in
those
favor?
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. You guys.